Hello, and welcome to another edition of our recycling podcast. Recycle, don't be a waster. In today's podcast, we'll not go into some of the more, political aspects or maybe controversial aspects that we have covered in some of our more recent episodes, but we will, cover a podcast, like a question that we get asked at Waster almost every week. It seems so simple. But it leads to an awful lot of confusion due to slightly changing guidance, and also some misunderstandings out there in the market. And so I suppose this is a recycling question that impacts almost everyone. The question is, can you put a pizza box, a cardboard pizza box, into your recycling bin at either your home or your business? And so I suppose that's the question. And I'll be honest, I've seen it written also. I've seen people say, I've seen businesses, I've seen councils say, do not put pizza boxes in your recycling bin. And this stems from, the reasoning is that the pizza box absorbs grease from the pizza. This is the argument. There could be leftover food on the box. There could be, piece of cheese, vegetables, etc., maybe pepperoni. And the grease and fat gets into the cardboard. And the argument is that this cardboard will not be recycled, that it will lead to the batch, the bin being regarded as contamination, and it will end up in landfill. So that's the argument. I suppose I'll say, my view on this is, in the vast majority of cases, that will not be the case. I'll go out on a limb a little bit here because, some councils may be much more prescriptive in their guidance on what is, what goes in the cardboard bin. But I'm going to be honest, I think in the vast majority of cases, and I'll explain why, in the vast majority of cases, we will explain why it can reasonably safely, with some small adjustments, small checks, you can feel very confident placing it in your cardboard recycling bin. That's your blue bin. I suppose the first reason is, and why we cover this, is nearly everybody, most people I know, and maybe telling, the quality of diet that I consume, but nearly everybody, the vast majority of people, enjoy pizza, takeaway pizza. It's, an egalitarian food that the vast majority of people buy, whether it's once a week, once a month, or, parties, etc. So it's a very common thing. And so we're talking huge volumes of cardboard. We're literally talking, millions and millions of pizzas are being sold. I don't have the exact statistics, but millions of pizzas are being sold all across Australia and globally every single day. I think Domino's is probably one of the main chains, and it's in every town. So what is the cardboard box that is used for pizzas? It is, unusually, we often talk about how packaging, we should move away from plastic to cardboard, etc., for different reasons. We don't need to do that with pizza boxes. They are made from cardboard. They are already a recyclable, environmentally friendly, packaging system. So that's a great thing. We're very happy with that, and so why knock it? Let's just make sure we recycle these things. So they're nearly always cardboard, and they keep the pizza warm. And then when you eat the pizza, all I will say is, the argument is that if the pizza box has a lot of grease and fat, it disrupts the recycling process. When you take cardboard to a recycling plant, and there are dedicated facilities for cardboard, it's probably the most easily recycled or main recycling stream globally. It's traded on international exchanges. You can get rebates if you have it in very large amounts. So it's probably, outside of metal, it's probably the most accepted and widespread recycling system in place in 2022. So when you recycle cardboard, obviously the processes and the facilities in place, they're capable of removing colorings of paints from those, inks from the cardboard boxes. The vast majority of systems are very capable of accepting a small amount of grease, a small amount of fat, whatever it is, as long as it's within reason. So we would always say, if you've got the cardboard box, take out any remaining food, scrape it off, throw that into general waste or into your compost heap, and have the cardboard box as clean as possible. Some people would argue that you should shave off even a bit, take off maybe the top or the bottom or whatever it is, maybe the internal. Some boxes will even have an internal liner that cardboard again that you could take out and put in general waste if you want it to be extra sensitive, extra sensible, and that's possible. I'll be honest, I don't even think that's required in the vast majority of cases. I think as long as the pizza, the food has been removed, the grease and fat, you maybe rub off any excess if you feel you need to, and put that in the general waste or composting, and then I would feel very confident in putting that cardboard box, which is fundamentally what it is. It's just a cardboard box, placing that into your blue recycling bin. I'll be honest, I don't think I can recall ever hearing of a recycling truck rejecting a bin because it's got a pizza container in it. I think when we're looking at contamination, if we're looking in the world of contamination for in recycling collections, this is very far down our list. I think we're in a scenario where we're used to seeing plastic bags placed in bins. We're used to seeing different items, and as technology improves, we're getting better and better at removing these from the recycling streams. Obviously, that's not to say we shouldn't put the effort in to manually remove them. Clearly, that makes it much better. But I think in the hierarchy of contamination, I do think a little bit of grease is probably very low down your list. In the cardboard bin, I'd even say in cardboard bins, you have more pressing issues going into those bins. You'll have glossy paper. You'll have envelopes with plastic windows. You'll have a lot of stuff, staples, all these sort of things will go in. And in the vast majority of cases, as long as the pizza box is reasonably clean, it should not be an issue. Some councils may go out of their way to specify things, but I think from my experience, certainly from a commercial perspective, dealing with businesses and residentials, I think you'd be perfectly fine. And I think it's a rule of thumb, just keep doing it unless somebody stops you, unless someone says this is the reason why not to do it in your particular neighbourhood. So that's the rule of thumb, and carry on as you were. So I think we'll do some more of these podcasts over the next couple of weeks, covering probably some of the more common questions, the more common questions that impact a lot of people, that impact general users of recycling services, just so we can help people get the info they need to really boost recycling performance, boost those recycling percentages. Because if there's one thing that really annoys me, it's when we're needlessly not recycling things. We have a lot of valid complaints. Anyone listening knows we have people who are keen on recycling. We're not short of things to complain about. We have valid complaints, and we'll cover these in future episodes. Things that can be recycled but aren't because we don't have the facilities. Examples like kids' nappies and these sort of things. But in the world, there are a lot of easy things that we can recycle with a lot of confidence and effectiveness. And, it's just probably having that confidence to do it and not having misinformation maybe, confusing people. So that's where we leave it today. I think it's January. I think people, if you haven't broken your New Year's resolutions by now, I think it's perfectly fine to go out and buy a pizza. If your New Year's resolution was diet, I think you've come long enough. So feel confident to get a pizza and know that the packaging is recyclable, and as long as you take some simple precautions, simple steps, you can be confident it will be recycled. So we'll leave it there today. Once again, our tagline is recycle, don't be a waster. And we'll ask you to, like, share, comment, do what you do, on social media, etc. Because the more people do that, the more we get. I believe we are higher ranked by the algorithms from YouTube, Spotify, these sort of services. And the more that happens, the more people listen. And it hopefully is a virtuous cycle. Okay, have a great day, and see you later.